Hi, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and today I'm going to be bringing you two DIYs. So for the first DIY, we'll be using vinyl, and this is the Oracle matte vinyl, and I will put the link in the description box for this. So we're going to take an 11 by 14 stretch canvas and some wood glue and the tumbling tower blocks. So we're just going to make a frame with the tumbling tower blocks on top of the canvas. And you do have to cut a couple of the blocks down to make it work all the way around. And I believe this 11 by 14 canvas I got when I was in Georgia visiting my sister at a discount store. I think there were like 4 in a package, and I don't remember how much they were. But I couldn't get more than the package in my suitcase, so I only got to get 1 pack. So once I have all the tumbling tower blocks around my canvas as a frame, I paint it with my black chalkboard paint. Now the reason I use the chalkboard paint is it's basically the only black paint I have left, and I haven't bought any more, but it was given to me, so you know, I didn't have to pay for it. And I have this brown vinyl. Now I did cut these out on my Cricut, and these were on the Cricut Design Space. And I just used different colors of vinyl. I didn't have the colors that was on Design Space for this project, so I just did whatever colors I had available. Now, my vinyl wasn't sticking to my canvas, so I took it outside and I sprayed it with some clear sealer. And it did stick better with that. But I want to tell you, when you are using vinyl and you have a canvas that does not touch your work surface, you need to put a book underneath it, because you're not getting a good seal on your vinyl connecting with the canvas without something hard underneath it. Now, if it's a flat canvas, you don't have to worry about it. But because this canvas is elevated, it's not touching my work surface, so you need to put something hard underneath it. And I didn't know this at this point in time. But I think you do need to put a matte sealer on your canvas before you use your vinyl on it. I do find that it sticks better. So here's another piece that I cut out. So it's in several different colors. And again, this is the Oracle matte vinyl, and I'll put the link in the description box if you're interested. When you watch the second part of this first DIY, you'll see the difference once I put the book underneath the canvas, how much easier it is. And for my transfer paper, I'm using contact paper, and I think it's from You know, the ones that make the duct tape. Is that right? Duct tape. Yeah, the one with the duck on it. This one kind of reminded me of an onion. It's kind of like this abstract art. And I think it turned out well with the white background and the black border. So I'm having a little problems with this, and then you can see the bubbling on the brown because, you know, it's not connecting to the canvas. So I'm just trying to go slow and hold the pieces down as I'm pulling off the transfer tape. And I just use my fingernail to hold some of the vinyl down as I'm pulling the transfer tape off of it. And you'll see me rub this down several times. Over and over and over, because I don't realize that you need to have something hard underneath it. This was my first time using the vinyl on a stretch canvas. The other times I'd used vinyl on canvas, I used the flat canvas. So keep this in mind if you're ever doing the stretch canvas. And I thought these colors turned out pretty good together. The yellow, the orange, the green, and the brown. Of course, this is like everyday decor. It's not for a season or anything like that. And this is I think it's like a coppery gold vinyl. And I'm just using my scraper tool from the Dollar Tree. As you can see, I'm still trying to push the vinyl down onto the canvas. I mean, I just couldn't figure out at this point what was going on. But there it is. I just keep trying to, you know, get it to lay flat. And I do get the wrinkles out, but they just pop right back. But see how smooth it's looking right now? It's not going to stay. And you'll, there it is. That goldish part looks yellow, but it's not. So this is the second one that I was doing, and I lost some footage there. But now this one here, I have a book underneath it, and you can see how much better this is doing. There's no bumps, you know, no bubbles or anything in this. See how that's going down? So just look at how much nicer this is than what the one I was doing before. But I do come back to the one before, put it over the book, and burnish it down. And it turns out just as good as this one does. So once I figured out what was wrong, then it all turned out good. And it's because your canvas is not laying flat on your surface. So you need something up underneath it to get your vinyl to adhere to your canvas. You have to have something, I don't know how to say it, something hard, like a hardback book, maybe a piece of wood, just something. And this one here, I used the same colors of vinyl that I did in the first one because I want this to be a set. And again, I used the tumbling tower blocks around the edges of the frame and painted it in the black chalkboard paint. And then I used the same size canvas, the 11 by 14, and I took it outside and sprayed it with the clear spray. And you can use the matte spray, you can use the semi-gloss. I think I had to get semi-gloss because they were out of the matte spray. And I don't see too much difference in it anyway. And I don't put anything over top of my vinyl when it's complete. I just leave it as is. And you can see I forgot to paint that one section of my frame, but I do come back later and do that. Not in the video, but I do it. So there's the second one, and it was so much easier. There's a couple little bubbles in there, so I'm just burnishing those out. You just take it and push it towards the end of the vinyl piece. And that's it. I love these two together, and I'll show them both to you. And there they are. And see there, it looks goldish. The little things on the right picture. I love these. I could see them hanging on a wall. And there they are, hanging on my wall. I just took a picture of them individually. Love how they turned out. What do you guys think? I'm liking working with vinyl. So here's our DIY number 2, and it's actually a dupe. And I forget where the dupe is from, but this is like a wooden jack, and it's $39 on sale. So I have these beads. I have 12 white ones that are smaller and 6 larger ones that are in the natural wood. And then I have this bag of sawdust. Now I've had this sawdust for years and years, and you just put a little bit of the wood glue in it, and you can actually use this, actually not wood glue, I put in school glue. You can use this to repair stuff. Like we've used it when the screws where the dishwasher was screwed into the cabinet portion, and the screw would no longer stay in the holes. We filled in the holes with some of this, and then after it dries, it's just like wood. So keep that in mind, and we're going to take this and fill in the larger beads because that's going to be the ends of our jacks. So we don't want there to be a hole. So I'm just going to fill it with this sawdust glue stuff. So I'm going to do both ends of it. You probably don't have to. I just did because I mixed so much of this up, and I didn't want to waste it, so I just did both ends. And then once it dries, you can take a fingernail file and file it down. You know, if you don't have that, you can use just sandpaper. So I do this on all 6 of the larger beads. Now I'm going to take this wood glue from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to connect 2 of the white beads. So we're going to do that until all of the beads are connected in groups of 2. I'm going to set those aside to dry. And most of the time I let these dry for several hours or maybe even overnight before I came back and started working on them again. I didn't think that the hot glue would stay with these wood beads as well as the wood glue would. So now I'm taking the larger beads and gluing them to the set of 2 white beads, and we're going to do that for all 6 of them. Once we have those done and they're dry, we're going to take 2 sets of them and glue it end to end on the white beads. And we're going to wait for this to dry. So because the end beads are larger than the middle beads, I needed to put them on something where the end beads would hang over so that they would stay together. And I didn't touch these until they set up. So here it is. It's probably the next day or hours later. And we're going to add one of these other 3 bead sets with some wood glue on the end to the center of the piece we glued together. Now we're going to have to rig up something to keep it from falling over. And that was the hardest thing with this DIY, was keeping these pieces together while the wood glue was drying. I did try to use a little bit of hot glue with the wood glue and it just didn't work. I don't know if maybe super glue would have worked better. I don't know. But I knew that if I could get the wood glue to stick, that it would work out good. So I'm gluing on another set of the 3 beads. And as you know, the larger beads are keeping the smaller beads from hitting where I'm trying to glue them onto in a correct place. So I have to elevate them a little bit. So I just put the cap of the wood glue up underneath it. So we're gluing on another one of the 3 bead sets. So basically it's just a big old jack. Wooden jack. So for this one here, and I'm sure you guys have played with jacks when you were a kid, I'm putting the cap, the wood glue cap, up underneath the white beads again. Try to keep them in place. Elevate them a little bit. And then once I got it to where I needed it to be, I walked away. Now this is probably the next day. This DIY took a while. So on this one, you're gonna see I have a hard time figuring out how I can get this last 3 bead set to stick to my jack. And can you believe they want $39 for one of these? Wow. Well, I can understand that because it is hard to keep it together. Maybe there's a better way. I mean, it was frustrating, I would have to say. And if you guys know of a better glue to use, I don't know. I just thought wood glue would be the best because, you know, it holds really well. And I was putting that glue bottle up there to try to get that 3 bead set to stay there. And then I was trying to use a button. I was trying everything. I'm like, okay, we got to get this to stick on there somehow. I'm not going to sit here and hold it for 5 hours. Now I have this tool and I'm like, well, I'm going to see if I can set it up here some way so I can get this to stay. I just need it to sit there and not fall off until the glue sets up. That's all I need. I just kept trying and trying until I figured it out. See, I'm trying my fingernail file. There we go. It's on there. And then I took it outside and I spray painted it. I gave it some good spray paint in white, and I'm just filing it off a little bit because I got a little heavy-handed with the white spray paint. So, and then I'm just filing a little bit of it down. But here it is. And there's theirs for $39, and here's mine, which I would say, you know, maybe $5, which I doubt. But again, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please feel free to do so. And if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up as it helps the algorithm. Thank you.